And on this Thursday afternoon, about a month and a half to 2 months before the start of the season, we're joined by MSJC women's volleyball coach Serinna Eason, entering her fifth season at the head of the Eagles program. We chat with her about some Lady Eagle volleyball, motherhood and coaching, and some other topics. All right, Serinna, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'm excited to be here and excited to do this for you guys.
All right. At Vista Murrieta, you had one of the area's more decorated prep careers under Kristen Cook. Played collegiately for 2 years at Concordia, then moved on to West Virginia. The general trend is to move down, not up, in terms of transferring. Talk about how you ended up in Morgantown and maybe what kind of an influence Coach Cook was in your decision to become a coach.
Okay, so coming from Vista, I am a huge advocate of Vista. I love the foundation that Coach Cook had for me at Vista. And then when I got done with there, I transferred out to Concordia. And one of my main reasons that I chose Concordia was Paula. If you guys know, Paula Weishoff was the coach my freshman year. And she swore to me she was not leaving. And during our freshman year, we were a national runner-up, so we were second in the country. And then she decided to take that job at UCI right after. So as my sophomore year came into play, I was comfortable at Concordia, so I wanted to stay there another year, which we did, and we still had another great season. But after that season, I just decided, hey, I kind of wanted to get out and do something different. I had offers from West Virginia and stuff my senior year of high school, but I just didn't want to go out of California. I was one of those girls that wouldn't leave California, and I would highly recommend leaving California now that I've done it. And I will always tell my JUCO players the same thing. Now it just gives you a whole different experience. So I transferred out to West Virginia, and it was good when I was able to transfer out. I had mentors to talk to and help me through that process, like Kristen Cook and Dennis Papalatok, helped me set up those situations that prepared me to transfer. Transferring out to the East Coast and to West Virginia was probably the best decision that I have ever made, not only for a volleyball move for me, but also just for a growing move. Me moving cross country, I was really able to grow up a little bit and mature and experience something totally different than what we have experienced our whole lives here in California. And it really made me enjoy that process, and making that change kind of got me into coaching. I've always been in love with coaching and in love with the game of volleyball, but being able to make that change out there and getting involved with the club world out there with Jill Kramer as my coach, helping her run some camps, coming back with Dennis and running some camps here, really kind of got my drive into coaching.
All right, and that leads into the next question. Prior to MSJC, you were a collegiate assistant at Davis and Elkins, and then you did some club work.
Yep.
Talk about a couple of things you learned out when you were back east that you have brought back to MSJC as you took over the Eagles program, and maybe a couple of things that when you came in you saw that had to change right away.
Yeah, so I would say the biggest thing that I learned, especially back east, because you are away from your family, going to school close to home, 45 minutes away, was my first experience. And sometimes on the weekends, you would go home, you would come back to school, so it was a different feel and a different vibe. When I went to school on the East Coast, I think the biggest thing that I took from that program there was the interest in your players. And Jill Kramer taught me that, and she's one of my huge mentors, was showing that each player mattered and really investing in all of us as players, not just volleyball players, but like people as well. We were over at her house for dinners. We were doing team bonding things. We were doing things in the community, and it wasn't just volleyball. And at the Division I level, so many times it is just cutthroat. You train, you play, and it's all about winning or losing. And I'm not saying it wasn't competitive, because it was extremely competitive, but at the same time, she got her athletes to buy into the system by showing how invested she was with us. And that was something that I thought was very special about Jill, and I thought was very special about our teams back then. And now coaching and even running youth programs, and running my first time at MSJC, my first head coaching job at the time, that was something I wanted to make sure happened, and I instilled in that program from day one. It wasn't just a program where you were going to show up and then just play volleyball and go home. It was going to be a family atmosphere, and something that was going to be a part of these athletes now, in 5 years, and in 10 years.
Okay. What is one piece of advice you would give a new head coach? And it doesn't necessarily have to be volleyball specific.
Oh, let me think. Some advice I'd give a new head coach.
Yeah, flashback 5 years ago, and think about something you know now that you wish you knew back then when you started.
Yeah, I would just say trust your instinct. Sometimes it's nerve-wracking taking on all these new responsibilities, a new school, a new team, new recruits. For my situation, it was really trying to build a program because we started very low in the conference and never really had someone in our school to build the program. So I would just say, develop a culture, find key things that you want as an individual and stick with those. Trust your instincts. For me, I am very structured and very organized, and I run my program just like a Division I program, and I'll tell my athletes that all the time. It doesn't matter that you're coming to a JUCO program. My expectations for you are going to be the same. The standards that I have for you are going to be the same. So I would just make sure that if you are starting off as a new coach, have those standards, have those core covenants, have those values that are important to you, and just stick with them. And you're going to have athletes that buy into the system. You might have some that don't, and that's okay. But the ones that do will, they'll benefit from it.
Okay. How has motherhood made you a better head coach?
Motherhood. Motherhood has made me a better coach because it has given me a whole different perspective. I think I work pretty hard. I'm a very hard worker. So when it was just volleyball, it's volleyball, my relationship, my husband, volleyball, my husband, work, two separate things. Now I have a daughter, and she's my number one priority. Family is my number one priority, and that's how I run my programs as well, with that family atmosphere. So having Stella now has made me, I think, a little bit more patient with my athletes, to be honest, but then also it's given me another perspective on family, and what's important. I have these athletes that I am now training to become mothers one day and to become role models one day. And I have this little Stella, my little daughter, looking up to these athletes that I'm training. And it's kind of put another twist on things because now I'm raising my daughter from a young age to become like my athletes, and I'm having these athletes I'm hoping to mold that my daughter can look up to. So it's a amazing situation, and I'm so excited to have more and continue to grow our family. But it's definitely given me another perspective, and then just also made me confirm my values of family and incorporating them into my program. All of my players know Stella. Sometimes I bring her to practice if I have to, and it's important for me to have that relationship with Stella and with my players.
Okay. As a junior college coach, there are probably some different restrictions that you operate on compared to your four-year counterparts. Talk about what a recruiting period is like for MSJC volleyball. Talk about what your ratios of high school matches to club tournaments that you base your recruiting off of.
Yeah. So starting in high school, we really make it a priority with our coaching staff to get out to all of the high school matches, especially in our area. We are a kind of segregated area a little bit because we have not a ton of schools right around us, junior colleges per se. Rather than San Diego, they have 6 junior colleges maybe within a 20-mile radius. With us, it's us and we have a few other competitors. So we really try and make those relationships with our high school students early. Once it gets over to the club side, I think being involved in the club world is extremely important, and that's what has helped us and benefited me, with our program. I've been coaching at 951 for the past 5 years, ever since I've been home, and that has helped me form those relationships with other athletes, and it has also given me the opportunity to be at the same tournaments, to be at those big tournaments, the Vegas tournaments, the Florida AAU tournaments with recruiting, so being involved with the club not only helps you with the relationships because players know you, but it also helps you being at the big tournaments and seeing the players and marketing yourself.
Okay. When you're on the trail, when you're watching a court live when you're looking at a recruit. Talk about a couple of things that make a recruit pop off the page, or a prospective recruit pop off the page to you.
The controllables. The controllables, the controllables, the controllables. It's something that I will preach to my athletes. That is what I'm looking for. Yes, they need to be a good volleyball player, but at the same time, if they are a good teammate, if they hustle in drills, if they are communicating, which is a huge one for me, but if they communicate, if they give like good effort, if they are mentally tough, things like that, that is what I am mainly looking for. How they are on and off the court, okay, how they are with their friends, with their parents, things like that, how they are as a person is important to me with recruiting. Yes, I'm recruiting the athlete, but I'm also recruiting the person, because I want them to have the same values as we have in our program, so it will be an easier transition for them.
Okay. When a young lady leaves your program, what are a couple of things you hope they move on with, whether or not they move on to the 4-year level?
When they leave my program, my hope to them would be, first, education, that they are graduating with their AA degree, number one. That's the thing that's huge in our program, academics and being a student first. So when they leave, I hope that they have their AA, they're leaving, and they are in some direction of what they want to do. Second would be competing, and them learning the idea of competition, and competition in life in general, learning how to compete on the volleyball court, learning how to compete in their job, learning how to compete with people around them, and not always about winning or losing, but just for us, the word compete is just working your hardest and trying to be better than you were yesterday and having that mentality. Probably the third thing would be discipline. All of our practices since I've gotten to MSJC have been either from, my players have been waking up from anywhere from 3:30 to 4:30 in the morning to get to practice. And that's all year long, not just during season. So they're waking up that early in season, in spring, and in summer. And that takes discipline. That takes discipline as an athlete. And I think that's something that they learn not just from early practices, but also from our workouts, also from the load that they take from being a student athlete, just the discipline that it takes to be successful. And I'm trying to think of one more good one that they would take. The sense of family. And, I think one of the best things about being a coach is watching your players form relationships. And it's a little bit different at a JUCO because you do only have them for 2 years, and then they move on, and very rarely do they move on and go play with each other again, So it's the best feeling seeing those players that played with you for 2 years do something special, leave, make impacts in their programs that they're currently at, but then also keep those relationships with each other. Sometimes I look at my players that they come back and they practice with us and they play with us and they mentor our girls, and I just sit back and look and say, that's what I wanted. That's what I was working for. Them to have that sense of family and them to have those relationships. Because at the end of the day, yes, you're going to win this championship and you're going to get this and you're going to remember who was player of the year, but you're going to remember the experience that you had and the people that you did it with.
Do you have any players that played for you previously that are in the coaching world, either high school, club, college?
Yeah, I have a ton. Actually, because I used to run the youth programs at 951, it was kind of like a little feeder program for our MSJC girls. So all of them would get jobs with coaching with our youth volleyball stuff. So it's just been amazing from my side of it, watching them first start coaching with the little kids and then kind of being very nervous and shy and not really knowing what to do. And then how they end coaching is completely different. Nara, one of my players, Nara, she's now at Hope International. She is like a mini me. She's an amazing coach. She's coaching out, I don't know where it is in Orange County now, but she used to coach at 951. She's coaching now somewhere in Orange County because she's down there. Hannah Schaefer, she's at La Sierra. She's coaching. My current players that are coaching, Jamie, Cynthia, those girls, a lot of them still coach right now. And just watching them, the confidence that they have coaching now from when they started is amazing. and it's great, and that's what makes my job.
Okay. Talk about what a game day is like for you, especially since you have classroom responsibilities and since you're a department chair.
Yeah. So game days usually start out with teaching a class. I usually will probably have at least 2, maybe 3 classes before. I teach all my classes in the morning, especially when I'm in season, and I try and not teach as many on, game days, for instance. But there's a lot of responsibility. You kind of have to just change that mindset. When I'm here, I'm teaching, and I'm going to do the best I can at teaching right now. And then when it's game time, it's game time. And I think what has helped me manage all of this is just staying organized and staying structured as much as possible, and taking it one day at a time. For me, just being on a schedule helps make everything run a little bit easier, but making sure that I'm giving my same effort that I do with my girls coaching and with my team in the classroom is extremely important to me, because not only do I have a lot of passion for PE and coaching, but I also do, or for coaching, but I also do for PE. I love the physical education side of things. I love the kinesiology side of teaching as well. So it kind of all ties in together for me.
All right. What is the biggest area of improvement your ladies will have to make in order to bring a PCAC title to Mount San Jacinto? And how much inspiration was women's basketball's state tournament title run last year to your program?
Women's basketball winning this first state championship was a huge inspiration for not only volleyball, but I know all athletic programs at MSJC. They have shown how hard they've worked, so hard, and kind of led the way and been the example for all the other athletic programs at our school. And I think it has given a lot of the coaches at our school a little kick to want to do that, a little motivation to want to do that, because we want our name on the board. And it's something that we say in practice daily right now in summer. Volleyball has never won even a conference title. So this year, that's something that we say in practice. This is what we want to get. This is how we're going to have to get there. And I think right now, the biggest thing that our team will have to do is continue to buy into our system. Buy into our system. We have a large group this year. We have 19 girls right now starting summer. So the more girls we have, the more you're going to have them buy in. So they're doing a great job, and right now we just finished week 3 of our training. So I think it's going to be a constant thing of buying into our system, buying into what our coaches are saying, trusting our training, trusting what we're saying skill-wise on the court, trusting our strength and conditioning program. And if they continue to do that and bond as a team, I think we'll have a good shot of doing something very special this year.
Because I believe last year you split with Palomar, correct?
Yes, we
and
got second.
COD, right?
Yes.
So, and in the PCAC, you just can't split with people. You got to beat them twice.
Yeah, exactly. You can't split with people, and a huge portion of our program and what you want to try and make our athletes understand how important summer is for us, you really have to peak in preseason and in postseason. Those are 2 very important parts of season. So a lot of teams, have their preseason to work things out and try some new lineups, where we want to try and peak a little bit during preseason to have some big wins and to get our team ready to go. So when conference is here, they have to understand every game is important. Every point is important. Every match is important, and it's a transition for them to do.
I believe it was 2 years ago in the state Southern California regional play-in round.
Yes.
You guys played Mount Sac out there. I was on the officiating crew for that match.
Oh, you were?
I was a linesman.
Yeah, that was our first time ever making a playoff game.
That's what I was just going to ask, because I was like, I'm pretty sure that might have been their first.
Yes, that was our first time ever making a playoff game, which was a special season, and it was an at-large at the very end. And, those at-large are always like, cringing, at the meetings, waiting to see if you make it. Where this year, I always tell my girls, you don't want to be that. You want to set it up so you get in. You get in right away, But that year was very exciting for us. We had a hard match that day, and Mount Sac played really well in that first playoff game, and this year we're hoping to do the same thing.
All right. How do you think your players would describe you in 2 to 3 words?
Competitive, loud, and organized.
Okay. And then we look at, you look all around the country and you see these horrible stories of coaches leaving because of parents. I don't know if you saw that softball brawl in Tennessee last weekend.
Oh, no, I didn't.
I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
What is one piece of advice you have for parents as their kids are moving up the athletic ladder? And not necessarily volleyball.
Yeah, I would say just respect the coaches, respect the coaches and let your kids enjoy it. Your kids already have so much stress, especially at the collegiate level, with coaches, with school, with this, with that, where they don't want to get more stress from you guys when it has to do with sports. So just support them and respect the program that your son or daughter's in and enjoy it because it goes by so quickly.
Has there been any talk about MSJC starting a men's program and getting into the PCAC on the men's side? Or
I don't know, not right now. I think the latest is our SAM program for women. That's what we're trying to press right now. We've gotten all the curriculum approved, and now it's just getting the board to approve it. And I think that's going to be the next move for volleyball.
Is SAN?
Is SAN, yeah. And SAN will be out at the Menifee campus.
Okay. All right, now we're getting to the good stuff.
Okay.
Rapid fire time.
I'm nervous.
We're going 15 with Eason. Here we go.
Okay.
Worst subject in school?
Math.
Favorite movie?
Grease.
Favorite TV show?
Oh. Favorite TV show? This Is Us.
Okay. Karaoke go-to?
Spice Girls.
Where did the hubby take you on the first date?
Sushi.
Okay. First job outside of volleyball?
American Eagle.
Okay. If you could play another sport competitively, what would it be?
Soccer.
Favorite professional team?
USA.
Okay. Guilty shopping pleasure?
Lululemon.
All right. Seeing as though we're near a Baskin Robbins, favorite Baskin Robbins flavor?
Cookie dough.
Okay. Favorite Morgantown restaurant?
Ooh, Morgantown restaurant has to be oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank right now? The only Mexican restaurant in Morgantown. I don't remember what it's called right now, but it's the only Mexican restaurant in Morgantown, and we all used to go there. That was the closest we can get to California.
Okay. Favorite road stop with the team, since the PCAC is a fairly spread out geographical conference?
Favorite road stop with the team, I would say Chick-fil-A because that's almost our go-to food.
Okay. Stagecoach or Coachella?
Stagecoach.
And then sports bucket list item?
You mean anything?
Yeah.
Obviously a state championship. That's what I want.
All right, Serinna, thank you for taking the time to join us today. Best of luck to the Lady Eagles in the PCAC this year.
Thank you.
All right, here